Drunk tank. Drunk tank. Did you know it's the drunk tank?
Apparently we got Jimi Hendrix back from the dead, whispering into us and playing us guitar for our podcast intro this week. We got the drunk tank.
I don't know if Jimi Hendrix is back from the dead. It might just be dead Jimi Hendrix playing that.
Dead Jimi Hendrix.
It's pretty good.
We got,
You thought so?
Yeah.
I you know what? I'll be
For-
honest.
No, I meant for a dead guy, at least.
Every
can't play
time I
that
hear
good now.
electric guitar, it all sounds the same to me. Like I can't tell. Like even Jimi Hendrix, when he would do this amazing stuff, I just couldn't. I couldn't hear
It
it.
goes...
Yeah. Like when he played the Star Spangled Banner, everyone talks about how incredible that was. Did he play that at Woodstock? I guess.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just like it just sounds like. I'm not saying the electric guitar sounds bad. I like it, but I can't tell the difference between really good electric guitar and masterful electric guitar.
I think that the deal with that is, and I could be wrong too, because I'm like you. I think the deal with that is no one had played the electric guitar like that until he did it. It's like one of those things where everyone talks about how great Citizen Kane is, but you watch it now and you're like, what's so good about this?
You don't have the perspective of a world without Citizen Kane,
Right.
is what you're saying.
Right. We don't have the perspective of a world without Jimi Hendrix.
Playing the Star
A
Spangled
world
Banner.
pre-Jimi Hendrix.
Never seen the movie. Too old for me.
Really, is it possible that a movie could be too old for you?
Absolutely.
You do realize that Gus and I were not born when Citizen Kane was in theaters,
Yeah,
right?
but I'll give,
You're not like Ben, right?
I'll give it like a limit, like 20 years or something.
20 years, what do you mean? From
Like-
20 years back from now,
like
or 20 years
before me.
before you were born?
Like before me.
So what, like 1985?
Yeah,
Yeah,
what year were you
exactly.
born?
Okay, maybe 20 years from now.
What
actually.
year were you dumped out of the
87.
Petri
I was
dish?
dumped out.
87.
87. So you would not see a movie before 1967.
That's way too much. I wouldn't see a movie anywhere near that old. Maybe
Really?
Maybe like 10 years. Maybe like Star Wars is like the oldest thing I'll
77,
watch.
that's then?
77.
I give it Star Wars is like the only movie I can watch and I'll be like, ugh, it's so old.
Let me throw a couple movies at you that you're going to be missing then.
Okay.
We should say real fast, that's Bernie, Michael,
Michael.
a.k.a. Rage Quit, and Gus.
You're missing The Godfather. You would never see The
All
Godfather?
right, I've seen The Godfather. What year is
What year
that?
did The Godfather come out? Was that 675?
Yeah, about 75.
Okay, then
yeah.
I guess Godfather.
I guess it was like maybe even earlier than that. Maybe like 74.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Clearly it was ahead of its time.
Jaws? That was pre-Star Wars, wasn't it?
It was like right around the same time.
I'm going to look it up
You're
now.
right on the cusp.
I
of
think
movies
Jaws
I'll
was like
watch.
76, 75 as well, somewhere around there. In my mind, everything was 75.
Jurassic Park.
What?
All the Terminator movies, those were in the 50s.
Oh,
I don't know if
really?
you know that. They're remakes.
That's crazy.
You're not talking to Ben, you're talking to Michael.
Would you watch television from older than that? Like, would you watch The Twilight Zone?
Maybe.
Star
Maybe
Trek,
Twilight
the original
Zone.
series?
Not really interested in Star
Mr. Ed?
Trek. No, God, no, I wouldn't watch that.
Of course not. There's no fucking cartoon
Mr.
ponies
Ed.
in it.
It's a horse, though. I'm trying to find common ground. Here we go.
Here it is. We're identifying with you, Michael. All right, so Michael would not watch any movies before 1977. That's where he stops in
It's
time.
somewhere around there. I can't
I'm
pinpoint it.
I'm still looking up for the Jaws release date. What is Jaws' contribution to modern American cinema? More specifically, modern American cinema marketing.
I know.
I don't know.
Summers never used to be blockbuster movie releases.
Oh, really?
Summers was when studios would release movies that they didn't think would do very well. And Jaws did so well that now all the blockbusters are released in summer.
Jaws was a disaster. It was like I'm trying to equate it to something Michael would understand. Like, what was a movie that got out of hand in terms of budget that you remember? Like Waterworld. Is that on your radar? If I say Waterworld,
You remember that movie?
Yes, I know of Waterworld with Kevin Costner.
Yeah, it had a bloated budget where it got
Yes,
up to like
that's
hundreds
correct.
of millions of dollars. I guess Avatar did it as well, and so did Titanic. But those
They
movies,
actually made money.
yeah, they paid off. Well, Jaws was kind of the same thing as like Avatar, where back in those days it crept up to like a $10 million budget from a $3 million budget. And there was this idiot young director Steven Spielberg who had this movie that was going out of control, but instead of like lamenting the fact that his budget was out of control, he just kept saying, look how much money we're putting in this movie, it's going to be awesome. And they tried to bury it by putting it in the summer, and it did so phenomenally well that it changed the way movies are released, and now the biggest movies are released in the summer as opposed to at the holidays.
You also don't see very much of the shark in that movie because they had a mechanical shark that didn't work for
Didn't
shit.
work right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it said I can't quote about that. I'm gonna see if I can remember it. I'll paraphrase him here, where he said that the difficulties with the mechanical shark made him more like Alfred Hitchcock and less like Roger Corman. Because if he had
Yeah.
the shark, he would have shown the shark the entire time.
Right.
But the fact that he couldn't show the shark made him a better filmmaker.
Just got a guy in a shark suit.
They should
Seemed
just
like
use
it
a real
would've been
shark.
easier.
I mean,
There you
fuck,
go.
it would have been easier.
That's true. You could do whatever you want back in the 70s. That was like, it might as well have been like the 1800s. You could blow up a shark. Nobody would have minded, really.
You know, I heard a story. So you talk about things you were able to do. I heard a story like, you hear about like guys dying on the set of Ben-Hur getting run over by a chariot, and they just leave it in the fucking movie, like they're building the Great Wall of China or something. But I heard too that the original Black Stallion movies, which Michael Black Stallion, another horse movie here, but it was made in the 30s, I think. That the little girl, spoiler, the horse dies in the movie, right? I think doesn't that happen?
I don't know.
It's an old movie with an animal in it. Chances
more
are
than
the animal
20
dies.
Old movie with an animal in it.
Yeah, so the animal probably dies. But the animal dies and the girl has to like break down and cry about it. And apparently the way they got her to break down and cry is they told her that her mother died.
Nice.
Then they filmed.
effective.
Then they filmed that. and
How old
told
was
her-
she?
I think like a kid.
Like 26? And she's like, no, I can't believe it.
She's like
Very gullible.
7, or 9, and they told her that. And they actually instituted like laws or codes of ethics about not doing that.
That's fucking awesome.
Get over it.
Yeah, it's motivational, right?
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? We just got a phone call. Your mom's dead. Roll tape. Roll film, I guess. In those
Cry in this direction.
Yeah. Stand on the X.
Stand on the X. This is the grieving spot.
Yeah.
All your sorrow needs to be left right here.
All your grief needs to be very well lit. Sweetie. Hold still for a minute. God, that's terrible, though. They would do that.
Yeah, that's awful.
Really terrible.
Absolutely.
There's a clip I saw probably a couple months ago now. I guess when they made that Twilight Zone movie in the 80s, there's this awful helicopter crash. I don't know
yeah.
if you ever heard about it.
Yeah, somebody like got their head cut off or something.
Yeah,
right?
the fucking videos on YouTube. You can't look at any nudity on YouTube, but you can fucking watch someone die.
Oh, you
shit.
can look at nudity on YouTube, my friend.
Can
It just
you?
depends if it's artful or not.
Oh,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
that's right.
Or if it's like breastfeeding, you can look at that too.
Michael.
There was this one. What? I'm saying you could.
You have the internet at your disposal. How desperate are you that you're looking at
No,
breastfeeding?
look, it was like- no, it was
he's
like-
hungry
it-
and he's horny. It's like I want to watch the breastfeeding.
It was like-
I'll fill both. I'll fill
It
every
was
need.
like this woman breastfeeding her like 3-year-old daughter, 4-year-old daughter or something. It was like this bitch is crazy.
I've seen that story. I believe she's actually 8.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's on YouTube. And the guy getting his head cut off. Or whatever it is.
Right.
Is it actually, I didn't actually see the clip. I just
You can't
I just
see
know
much.
about
It's
it.
like a helicopter turns over and goes rotor down onto like a dude.
Onto a guy?
Onto a dude carrying 2 kids.
Good lord.
So if you're an archaeologist finding this podcast buried under some temple in the future,
Right.
that's what YouTube was in our culture. It was breastfeeding videos
No.
and helicopters.
I
shotting
hope
off
in the
people's
future
heads.
that our podcast is in a temple.
I hope it's
like buried under a temple.
It hasn't
And
got
there's
under
an
a temple.
archaeologist who's like, look at this find.
should
It
be-
belongs in a museum.
It should be like floating in space, like Dead Space style.
No,
It's
fuck
like
it, dude. We're building a temple now.
Just gonna build a temple.
It's
It won't even be.
It'll be like Lost. It'll be
Right.
like, why was there a temple there?
Right.
They never explained it.
to say, it won't even be like when looking back in the future. There's temples all over. It'll just be like this one building. It's just like there's one lone temple. Like what the fuck?
It's a podcast temple.
Listen, if you're from the future or from an alien culture, and it's let's say 1,000 years in the future after the sun, scorches the earth, you find our building. What you have no context for our culture. What would our building be? It's a big open area. We have what looks like gods in our lobby. We have that big foam.
What do you mean
alien.
looks like?
With that big foam alien we
Thought
have
it
sitting in
was.
our, we have a prop now in
Oh,
our lobby.
right, yeah.
That's been sitting there, and we have all this like iconic props and sets. They would think we were some kind of religious fanatics. They would have no context for the internet or stupid internet videos. Excuse me, I mean highbrow, world class
Hugely
entertainment.
successful internet videos. Man, I was looking at our podcast downloads. We are huge now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We've seen some big growth this year.
I wanted to say something about that. I feel like we could do better in Germany, though. 'Cause that seemed a little low, and I feel like if we get more German-oriented like conversations going,
Can you? Okay, that's your job. You need to learn how to speak German.
I think you're already doing it with the breastfeeding videos.
I'll
I
do
think
that.
we're already
That's
on
true.
track there.
we need to get like those green outfits they wear to like festivals.
Isn't it
with the
Oktoberfest
suspenders.
now?
Green outfits.
Yeah.
What are the green outfits called,
They're always
Michael?
green. I have no idea what they're called. They're called German outfits. When little Germans are born, they're handed
You know
out.
what you
I know
must-
what they're called.
You must know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Right. German suits.
It's the uniform, the German uniform.
Right. You're presented
At,
when,
at
when
what
you-
age are they given the
at
uniforms?
birth. At birth. They have
birth.
to grow into them, though. You're given, at birth, the doctor hands you your baby, a sausage, and his German uniform.
A sausage.
Yeah.
I can just feel us picking up German viewers as
They
you
love
talk.
it right now.
I can hear it.
Lederhosen.
Yeah.
Lederhosen.
Lederhosen.
There you go.
I don't know. The official garb of the Oktoberfest.
Make
which,
like a,
Which is going on right now.
why is it going on now? It's September.
that's crazy.
They got
Fucking
bad
liars.
They're
calendars.
getting ahead of the game.
No,
I
they're smart.
think it ends like October 5th. It's like from
What?
the middle of September to like the first day of October.
Do you know what I learned?
Because it rolls off the tongue better than Septemberfest. What'd you learn?
I learned that, since we're talking about the screwed up German calendar, I learned that apparently Alexander the Great, as he spread the culture all over the globe as he conquered the globe, that the Greeks were the ones who had a 7-day calendar, and that most of the world had a 10-day calendar. 10-day week calendar is what I mean to say. So, like, and especially in Asia, they had a 10-day week. And that we now have a 7-day week because of Alexander the Great.
What were we talking about weekends? What
Man,
were we
you
talking-
really would have been fucking working hard for that weekend.
What would you like a 10-day week?
Well, it depends. How many days are weekends?
Well, let's break it down, Mike. Let's negotiate here. What are you putting on the table? How many days are you willing to work a week if it's a 10-day week?
3.
So you got 3 weeks a month, then, essentially. 3 weeks a month.
It's probably going to end up being like a 7-3 split, right?
Yeah. 7-3 split.
Because then if you multiply by 3, that's 21 and 9.
7-3, but then every 14 days of work, you're getting 6 weekend days. So now we do every 15 days, we do 6 weekend days. So because 5 times 3, yeah, so you lose a day of work in there. So every 14 days, you get six weekend days. Are you okay with
I'll
that?
just-
I think you misunderstood. I meant 3 work days
I know what you fucking
and
meant.
7
What the-
weekends. So
That's not even on the table.
who makes this judgment?
We ignore,
Why is
the
this-
bad offers.
Why is this the deciding factor? This table right here.
Because we're the ones fucking talking about it.
Yeah, but I mean,
Is
like,
anyone else talking
why
about
would
it?
you,
No.
Why would you want more work days?
No, 7-3, you get more weekend days.
I don't want more work days. I want you to have more work days.
I'm
That's
saying
the
I'm
point.
bumping it down to 1 now.
1 day.
1 day a week.
You
and
understand how
9
negotiating
and
works?
9
You understand you
days
play
on the
video
weekends.
games for a living and yell at them, right?
Right.
That most people wouldn't even qualify that as work.
Fucking pretty.
There's a
draining.
coal miner somewhere crying.
Yeah, but that guy loves coal mines.
Crying
You don't
black
just
tears.
fall into. Well, sometimes you fall into a coal mine, but you don't just fall into the job.
He has 2 clean
went-
streaks down the middle of his face from the tears that he's
He
shedding.
probably has a degree in coal mining.
You think so?
He was.
Do you
looking
have a
forward
degree
to
in
it his whole life?
video game anger management?
Absolutely not.
What
If
is-
I had an anger management.
What
I
is
wouldn't be doing it.
what is your educational background?
My what?
Your educational
We
background.
probably should have found this out before we hired him.
Yeah, you
Probably.
really should have. 0. That's
It's a
what it
little
is.
late to be asking that.
Did you graduate high school?
Yes.
You did.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I don't like the serious look in his face. He's like, "Fuck, did he?"
No, well, you don't know. Maybe not.
You're hired. You're hired at this point. You can be
You
honest.
already, we can't fucking fire you retroactively for that.
There are people who work at Richard who did not graduate high school.
I'm not one of them.
Oh, really? So and then is it okay if we talk about your previous employment at all? Like you're an actual skilled laborer.
Well,
You
yeah.
are. You're part of one of those Jersey unions, right?
No, I wasn't in a union.
How did you get away doing the job that you did in New Jersey and not be part of a union?
Because some guy's like, "Hey, come work for me," and I was like, "All right."
So you're a mobster. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
You're talking around the edges here a little bit.
You like had a bunch of no-show jobs. You're like, oh, I got paid not to go to work today. I got paid to stay home.
No, I actually worked.
I actually have talked to him about. Can we say what you did? Is that okay?
Yeah, I don't care.
So Michael's a trained electrician. Are you a licensed electrician?
No, I'm not.
So you're trained.
I was
but not
on the
licensed.
job training and with no motivation whatsoever to get a license.
So would you call that an apprenticeship?
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay. So Michael's an electrician, and since we moved in here, I've been asking him questions about like, say we want to put like a light socket here in the ceiling to hang a chandelier in the lobby. We have a kind of a cool, fun, funky chandelier we can hang. He has no clue how to do it. Move a
Dead.
light switch? No idea.
It's dead to me.
Can you help me replace an electrical outlet in my house?
I could. I won't.
That's a great answer.
Have you ever electrocuted yourself?
Well, I mean, it's not really electrocuted. Like shocked? Sure. Tons of shitloads of time.
What's the worst time?
The worst time would probably be intentional.
Intentional?
Yeah, well, like at first I got hired I got hired right when I turned 18. So I got hired as like the retard that carry shit, so just like, I'll get the tools. And like I would just bring it back and forth and stuff. And I only worked like 3 days a week. But when they started working like a year and then I got like full time and all that shit, then he's like, all right, I guess I'll start teaching you stuff. Cause you're like,
You haven't quit yet?
you're working 40 hours.
You're still here?
Yeah, I went in the job deciding like one day I'll just go home and I won't come back. Because that's what I did with like a bunch of jobs I had. I was just like, and I just wouldn't show up, and then they'd get the hint that I quit.
Okay.
They would know, and then it just saves, it saves the whole messy situation.
So anytime you
Quitting.
call in sick now, we're going to wonder, is this it?
No, I wouldn't call in sick. I just wouldn't show up one day,
Oh, okay.
and then the next day, and the next day, and so on and so forth.
That's good business training right there.
Yeah.
Just don't even don't say a word. Just walk away.
Don't worry about it. Forget about it. Okay. So he started teaching me the ropes and doing how to do stuff. But when I started like actually working on lights and this and that and all the installations,
Your technical jargon is
Yeah.
amazing.
That's what it is.
The holes.
the holes, there's a lot of wires involved, a lot of colors. Reds and blues, and greens.
Reds and blues.
Yeah.
I've never seen a red and blue in a electrical wire. Have you?
Sure, there's tons.
I don't think I ever have either.
I've seen black and white.
I've seen green as well.
green. For ground.
There is every color THHN.
So
What's
what's the worst time you shocked yourself?
But anyway, so before we started like working like real work, he's like, "All right, it's like you're gonna know what you're dealing with." So he had a transformer at like the workshop, and he set it up, and he kept like upping the voltage on the transformer. He's like, "This is 120 volts." And he's like, "I'll do it first, so you don't die." And then he grabbed it, and you just like, and you get shocked. So it's like 120, which is like normal. It's like your normal electrical outlet and stuff like that. Then we did 240. Then we did 480, which is
You
like
did not
Oh
do
my
480.
yeah. And that was not fun. But he's like, now you know.
What if you had like a heart defect and it like the electricity like just stopped your heart?
Well,
Like,
I didn't.
and maybe that's like his weeding out process.
Right.
It's like,
That's how you find it
let's
out.
see if this guy can keep
You
working
hit
here
the
enough.
floor, and you're like, failure. And then they just take him out and dispose
Well,
of
you
the
can.
body.
I mean, you can get hit with a lot of volts and be fine.
As long as
Yes.
it's low amps. Like,
Exactly.
like when if you ever see static electricity, if you can see the electricity shooting between you and the carpet or whatever, that's like 100,000 volts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's like a
but
taser is 10,000 or 20,000.
I don't know.
People get hit with those all the time.
Right.
I know. I do.
See?
Depends on the. Did I ever tell you the story about the going down to the bars in Mexico and the guy with the battery?
Yeah, yeah, I think you did. You can tell that on a podcast.
That was, somebody have to go back and find out where we talked about that.
That's the worst game ever.
You
You lose regardless.
and you lose $1 for
You get to pay to have some dude shock you with a battery in his fucking pants.
Yeah, those days are gone. Going down to Mexico, it's so sad.
Yeah, it's pretty scary down there now.
It's too bad. Do we have any listeners? We were talking about the statistics for the podcast. Do we have any listeners from Mexico?
I don't know. I'll look and see. I only looked at the top 10 countries that we had listeners from. I don't remember seeing Mexico on there, but I'll double check.
Who's number one?
U.S.
USA.
USA. I'm going to be fair. I asked just so I could say that.
Now the Union jersey comes out. Yeah. No, we found out. Gus sent out this email with our quarterly statistics, and we found out that we had 2.4 million unique listeners in the second quarter of this year, which ended, I guess, in June.
The third quarter,
Oh, the third quarter.
which is still going on for the next 9 or 10 days.
So we can add to our already impressive total, is what you're saying?
Yeah, we got time.
Listen to that. You think with 2.4 million unique listeners, we would have one unique sponsor. Yet we don't. We don't have a single fucking sponsor.
We do. This podcast brought to you by RoosterTeeth.com.
There we go.
Red versus Blue.
Red versus Blue, now currently in season 9. In fact, I have to cut out of here in a little bit because we're getting ready to record the commentary for season 9's DVD.
Yeah, Mexico is not in the top 10 countries. I only screenshotted the top 10.
Okay. Why don't you let's guess the top 10 if we can. I'm going to go U.S.
USA, given.
Next one, I'm going Canada.
What would you guess?
As number 2?
Yeah.
Is it Mexico?
If I say Canada, you should say UK.
Okay. Mexico?
It's the United Kingdom.
Okay, then after United Kingdom, I would go Canada.
Yeah.
Fuck
Is
yeah.
there even 10 countries?
What's up, Canucks?
They are.
Let me think about this. Next is Australia.
Yep.
Fuck yeah, look at me. Next is... I'm going to go off the beaten path here. I'm going to go with either like a Netherlands or a Finland, like one of the internet countries.
Both good guesses, but no.
What is it?
Ireland.
Oh, cool.
Which I guess is also kind of an internet country. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of technology companies moved out there.
I guess so. I don't know what their population is. Also, like, there's parts of Ireland that are part of the UK. Although people from Ireland would say, "What the fuck are you talking about? It's Northern Ireland."
We're losing listeners.
Then I'm going to guess after that. I'm going to guess either Germany or I'm going to go with my Netherlands Finland guest again.
Well, Sweden.
Sweden. I'm going to count Sweden as Finland.
Okay.
Because it's right there. Why not?
Then the next one, I'm going to say it because there's no way you're going to guess. It's unknown.
Oh,
Is that a country?
Apparently it is.
Michael would have guessed unknown. I'm sure.
Awesome.
You might have been
I might
Antarctica. And then rounding it out, I was going to say it's New Zealand, Norway, Germany. New Zealand's getting beaten by unknown. We need some more Kiwi listeners.
We need less people who are going through a proxy to find us.
We need less of the 4chan audience.
Well, we'd like to welcome all of our international listeners to the Drunk Tank podcast. We hope to insult your country on a future episode. We'll eventually get to every one of you.
We'd like to be incredibly ignorant about your country and confuse it with another one that's something that might be close to yours.
So, I mean, I already started off with like calling Finland Sweden, so there we go. And I was just in Sweden. I wrote a journal about that, but I don't think I ever talked about it, did I?
No.
So I went to I helped executive produce, or I'm in the process of helping executive produce a documentary by Two Player Productions, which is the production company who did the first season of the Penny Arcade reality show. And they're doing a documentary now about Mojang, which is the studio that makes Minecraft. A lot of people know Notch, the name Notch, as the guy who created Minecraft. But that's his studio, Mojang. So they're doing a documentary about it. I helped executive produce it, and as part of that deal, I had a chance to go over to Stockholm, Sweden, and visit with Mojang. And the whole reason I got involved with this, first of all, I like Minecraft, but my son, JD, is like the world's biggest Minecraft fan. And so I decided to pack my kid up, and we went off and got to meet JD's hero, Notch.
That's awesome. That's got to be a great trip.
Dude, it was unbelievable. Notch is easily one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. We have people who come visit us here, right? And it's like, hey, give a tour of the place. You know, we're working on stuff or whatever. And sometimes they'll be here for like, about an hour or something like that. Notch kind of put us to shame, I'll be honest with you, because I was like, we were there like 45 minutes. So I was just very conscious of the fact that, hey, these guys are busy doing stuff. This is a business. We should get out of their hair. And every time I tried to leave, Notch was like, no, let's go to lunch. And like, he walks down the street with my kid to go to lunch. And
nice.
He probably had us there about 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours.
That's awesome.
Also the week before he got married. So he was busy with a lot of stuff, and he was just a really cool guy.
That's great. What is does Mojang mean anything?
I don't know.
Or is it just like a word they made up?
I have no idea. It's a good question. It's a really good question. But I was commenting in the journal that JD actually got to contribute to. He's 9, and he got to contribute to part of the 1.8 update for Minecraft, where there's these new mobs called Endermen, which it's a really cool thing. Notch does a lot of studying of like theory of like cinema and gaming, where he talked about how fear is not the feeling of being attacked, but the feeling of about to be attacked. And I'm paraphrasing here from memory. So he does this thing where the way the Endermen attack you, they're these big dark creatures, they're black and they have glowing eyes, is they don't do anything. They just completely ignore you until you put your cursor on them and you look at them, then they turn and look at you. But they don't do anything. They just stare at you while you're staring at them, and then the moment you look away, they come running after you.
Nice.
So it's the idea that it's the idea that they see you. Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like an animal. It's like, don't look it in the eyes.
Yeah.
Don't challenge it.
And then they immediately spin and look at you when you look at them.
That's creepy.
Yeah, it's really creepy. And so JD was watching Notch try to run away from this group of Endermen. And Notch was saying, I got to find a way to kill these things. And he was running near water. And JD said, well, what if they died if they went in water? So now Endermen die if they go into water.
Makes sense. That's cool.
Yeah, so, I mean, I read out the autobiography of Bill Gates. And he said that he got into computers because he was a kid who didn't have many interests. But back in the day when Bill Gates was a kid, he had access to a computer and nobody else did. And his parents would buy him time on the computer. That's how old, that's how long ago this was. And he just got an interest in computers because he was always a smart guy. And this was something that leveled the playing field for him. In other words, he was a kid, but he could do something that adults could do, and they had the same rules the adults did. And that's how he fostered his interest in computers and technology.
Interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, and so, reading about that, it was just like, you just want to give your kids as much opportunity as you can to put them in a place where they get to foster the things they like. So that was fun. It was a lot of fun.
So that's why you bought computer parts, letting JD put a machine together?
Yeah. Well, I also brought another child with me on the trip because we're over in Europe. So I thought, why don't I just buy Gavin a ticket and we'll have Gavin join us from London. So Gavin came along this trip. Gavin is a fucking idiot, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that's been well established.
I mean, he is so dumb. You see, we ran into a real big problem here because Sweden is not on the euro. They're part of the EU, but they're not on the euro.
I didn't know that.
They have the Swedish krona is what they use.
Fancy.
And so we had to not that, the UK is not on the euro either, but somehow this still threw Gavin off completely. So we had to calculate every time we purchased something, we had to calculate how much it cost. I had to calculate how much it cost because Gavin doesn't pay for fucking anything. Have you ever noticed that about Gavin?
Yeah.
He doesn't pay for shit. Anyway, so the way we established this was we stepped off the plane in Stockholm, which, by the way, it looks like an IKEA. Their airport, everything is blue and yellow. Yeah, everything's blue and yellow, and it's got the
everything was
wood
put together
floors.
with an Allen wrench.
Exactly.
There's arrows.
Very sparse, Spartan decorations. And the first thing we saw, we got out, there was one of those deli stands, and they had a sandwich for 69 krona. 69. Okay. So it looks like a $69 sandwich is what it looks like. But that then became our basis for the entire economy of Sweden. So everything was
sandwich. That guy, he has no idea the ramifications that he had on your trip.
right. So
Everything's measured in a
sandwich. Yeah, it's like a beer is a sandwich and a half. It costs 35 sandwiches a night to stay in the hotel. So everything was. That's how Gavin did all of his calculations the entire time.
I got to look up what the exchange rate on that is now. So
Gavin was like. He's like, okay, this is 85 krona. That's a sandwich and like half a sandwich. This is 180 krona. That's 3 sandwiches. Okay. So he'd reach into his wallet to find 3 sandwiches is the way that he would pay for everything.
or nothing.
Yeah, or he wouldn't reach into his wallet. He would reach into my wallet to find 3 sandwiches to pay for everything.
He reach into your wallet for you, or
Which, listen, man, I can get down with an economy that's based on sandwiches because that's something I understand. That's a basic staple of life.
just toted around the sandwiches.
You could also eat the money.
Yes, true.
It's like the money has a dual purpose. The money actually does something. It's not just a piece of paper with some dead president on it.
And you can spend all day making money by just making sandwiches for people.
69 krona is about $10.33.
That's an expensive
Shit,
sandwich.
that's an expensive sandwich.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
$10.
Listen, if you ever travel anywhere now outside the U.S. because the dollar sucks so bad, everything is more expensive. Like, that's the problem. You go to London, is everything already seems expensive. Like, you say, oh, look, fish and chips are 18 pounds. $18 for lunch is a lot. But then you realize the pounds are like, you're paying $36 for fish and chips for lunch. That's pretty shitty.
Yeah. I've been to London once, and I had the exact same phenomenon where it's like, God, everything's fucking expensive. Oh, wait, no, double the fucking price.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just for the basis of the currency.
I'm going to London again next month.
Oh, yeah, you're going to London MCM Expo, right?
Mm-hmm. London Expo. October, I want to say 28th to 30th.
You're also going to be at New York Comic Con the week before that, right?
That's why I bring it up. I will be at New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks before that, October
Now, how does
14th to 16th.
And Michael, are you going to New York Comic Con?
I am? How does the exchange rate work in New York?
It's
It's the same thing, double everything.
They're also on
Yeah, but
they're
that's
also
true.
on the dollar. Yeah, Joel was supposed to go with me to New York Comic Con, but I guess he's going with you to Australia and New
Yes.
Zealand instead now. To
It's October 12th,
Armageddon
by the way.
Expo.
Fucking bitch.
It's October 13th. It's actually when the expo starts.
Oh, true.
October
Starts the
13th.
13th. We're going to 12th.
To October 13th to 16th for New York.
Joel is a fucking bitch. He is a bitch. There's no other word for Joel. He's just a bitch. He complains about everything. He's going to Australia. He's never been to Australia.
He's going to Australia, and apparently I owe him somehow.
Yes.
Like he backed out of the trip he's going on with me, and he's like, you owe me. I'm like, what the fuck do I owe you?
For making him go to Australia.
I didn't make him do shit.
He's going to have to fight dingoes and shit.
He's a big boy. He's like, I'm going to go to Australia. I'm going to go to New York. He's the one who fucking volunteered.
He's a little child complaining constantly about everything. I feel like we're gluttons for punishment, Gus, because we put him on the schedule for conventions.
He volunteered.
And we know as soon as we put him on it, who are we going to get to replace Joel for not going on this trip?
Yeah.
I used to be more like that because I would like, I have production, I have to do it. Which technically is why Joel is doing it as well. He has some work coming up, and especially in the fourth quarter, he can have a lot more work. But he is going to go, and he is honoring his commitment to go to Australia and New Zealand.
He's going to have a great time.
Hell yeah, he
It's going
is.
to be a great trip, but he's going to be miserable.
So I will be appearing with Joel Heyman, the voice of Caboose, at Melbourne Armageddon, and that is October.
That's not a date.
It's like October, I want to say 17th?
If you're in Germany, it's September.
October 19th. I think it's October 19th.
Yeah, I think it's right. Don't you have a calendar right there? Pull it up.
I don't want to use my computer because I don't want to
I got
disrupt the recording.
And then the week after that, we will be in Auckland for also Armageddon, correct?
Yes.
We'll be in Auckland, New Zealand to participate in that convention there. So if you live in Australia or New Zealand, which, Michael, are two totally distinct countries, and you should know that.
right. Obviously.
Obviously.
So, yeah, the weekend of
Obvi.
the 22nd and 23rd is Melbourne, and I believe the 28th to the 30th is Auckland.
And not to insult the people who live there, it's actually pronounced Melbourne.
Yes.
And there will also be a number of events for RT Oz, which is the RT Australia fan event that is being thrown at the exact same time. And if you want to find out about that, you should go to roosterteeth.com, RTOZ, I believe it is.
Yeah,
/
well,
RTOZ.
it'll be in the link dump, and if you have the Enhanced podcast, it'll be clickable on the podcast right now.
That is run by some very dedicated people, and they have a lot of cool stuff going on for that. So if you live in Melbourne, or if you live nearby to Melbourne, say Adelaide, or perhaps
Adelaide's nowhere close.
perhaps Sydney, or Perth, which is right nearby, just come on over.
It's all the same.
There's a train, isn't it?
It's a closer.
You can get on. It connects them all.
Yes, that is correct. I actually don't know if there's any way to get from Perth to Australia. I think, or to the rest of
Ever?
Australia. I think you have to go to like Asia to get to the rest of Australia from Perth.
No, you can fly.
The whole continent, Australia is a continent country. Did you know
Yes.
that? Okay. So the whole continent, the east side of Australia is where like Sydney, and then wrapping around the bottom where Melbourne, is. And it's all like coastal. It's all like
That
along
the
the
pointy
coast.
part or the smooth part?
That's the rounded part on the right.
It's like the butt.
Okay.
It's the butt of the country. Okay. Then there's the middle part of the country where, it's like 90% of the country. There's nothing.
I'd go higher than that. It's like 95% of the country.
Yeah. And then way out in the western tip is Perth. And that's pretty much, it's crazy. It's crazy how much of that country is not
But
populated.
there's also like some stuff up in the northeast. Like I think Brisbane's up there. Mm-hmm. And there's also Adelaide, which is more in the center, but also coastal.
It will also be approaching spring when we go down there, Michael.
All right.
We're just trying to educate you all
Beautiful
across the
weather.
board here.
Nice. Why don't they just like move all their shit together and
What does
make
that
it
mean?
easier? Like
Make just
they're-
one city?
They're kind of why not make it like the Matrix? And they have like what is it, Zion, and they're all like, this is the one city.
It's very interesting you say that because the Matrix was filmed in Sydney.
See,
In fact, when
they're
you
trying to get the movement going, nobody caught on.
when you go to Sydney, it's a little creepy because it looks like the city in the Matrix, and everyone wears like dark clothing,
The
and
same
suits.
outfits?
Pretty much. It's kind of like New York where everyone wears black for some reason. I don't know why. And also, people dress up more, so you feel like you're in the Matrix.
I'm not dressing up. Fuck it when I go.
Do it. Come on,
Nah.
put on your fancy Gus.
Why the fuck do you wear a suit sometimes?
I love it.
Completely,
Don't stop him. You keep it up.
no reason whatsoever.
Why do you own a suit?
You should always own a suit. Why wouldn't you own a suit?
He's fucking educating you now. You have a suit.
Why wouldn't you own a suit?
Part of a suit.
I have a suit and I have
does that
like
mean?
several different color dress shirts.
I guess
so that
technically I do.
always
I never
accent
thought I think about it that way.
We wore suits when we went to Vegas. That
No,
one time.
remember, I actually couldn't wear a suit. I got as dressed up as I could, but no one would sell me a suit because they said I was too tall and skinny.
Oh, get the fuck
I'm
out of
dead
here.
serious. They were like, we will not sell you a suit. We cannot fit you for a suit.
You're a liar.
I am
Nobody
dead
said.
serious.
Nobody said you were not
I went to
selling
like 3
you a
different
suit.
places. They would not sell me a suit. They said I was impossible to fit.
Did you got fitted and all that?
Yep.
Like, your suit, did they like
What's that?
hem the pants and all that shit?
I actually can't. All my suits, I need new suits now because I've lost the amount of weight that I've
true.
lost. Yeah.
They're going to tell you the same thing now.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Sir, you're unsuitable. Please get the fuck out.
I don't think I fall in the too skinny category. No, but actually,
I don't either anymore.
What's
Thanks,
that?
marriage. I don't either anymore.
yeah, it's not the pitcher of gin and tonics every night when you go home, right? It's just the
No,
marriage part.
That's fucking. There's no calories there. That's alcohol. That doesn't count.
Tonics like soda.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know. I read actually recently that people say that it's when people get beer bellies, it's not normally from the beer itself; it's from all the snacking you do as you drink.
Oh, it sounds like theories.
I don't know, just saying.
I mean, beer is like a carb drink. That's
Yes.
what it is.
Then yes, and if you're drinking a Guinness, fuck, it's like eating bread.
Yeah,
Which, according to Brandon, has no calories or no nutritional value. We work with a lot of idiots.
I was
Hello.
during Crunch, which is going on right now for season 9 of Red vs. Blue. I'm gonna say season 9 of Red vs. Blue as much as I can now that I realize we have 2.4 million listeners.
Right.
But when we built this place, I thought we had just come off of Crunch from season 8, and so I thought, okay, we're gonna build some stuff out here that we need to have. Like we built a shower in here, and we actually have a washer and dryer here at the office so that people can do laundry at the office if they happen to be working late. I actually kind of feel conflicted about that because I don't want people to. I don't have an atmosphere where we're like saying, "Hey, make work your life" or anything like that. But I do recognize that the people who work here just also tend to like to hang out here for a long time too because we have lots of video game stuff and just fun stuff going on. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that was all prefaced to me saying that I stayed overnight here a couple times during Crunch, and I would shower in the office. Good luck getting that image out of your head. But the towels that we have here it reminds me of another stupid fucking thing that Brandon did. You remember
Right.
we first moved into this office. This building had not been occupied for like 2 years. And so there were things we discovered about the building. Like after we first moved in, a rainstorm hit. Believe it or not, it actually rains in Austin sometimes. And this window right here in particular, Michael, this window leaked. And it was
He's
leaking.
pointing to a window.
Yeah, I am. It's a visual reference. And it leaked water here down this wall and all over the floor. We actually had to kind of fix the drywall after we got the window repaired. But we were kind of panicked because it was raining really hard and there was water leaking in. And so Brandon jumps up and says, I'll go get some towels. We just moved in here. We didn't have anything to like mop up all this water. We were putting fans on it. And he goes, I'll go get some towels and we'll mop up the water that's on the floor. So he comes back with 10 brand new red towels to like put on the wet floor, on the carpet.
He's not going to understand why this is a bad idea.
I don't think half of our audience is going to understand why it's a bad idea to put brand new red towels on a wet floor, on a carpet. But Brandon thought he just liked the color red, and so he got that. So when I was taking a shower, I saw there were red towels and thought, what a fucking idiot.
I assume the red bled.
It'll bleed all over the fucking place.
A brand new towel. Like if you had to pick one color that you wanted for the towels to not bleed, you would definitely not pick red.
Yeah. It's probably the worst possible choice. And we just laughed at him. He's like, what? I don't know. Oh, why would I know that? I'm not stupid because I didn't know it. It's like the dumbest defense ever.
In a sense, though, it's like a typical bachelor mistake to not know that red stuff is going to bleed all over everything else.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not defending that asshole, though.
So now that I've made fun of Joel and I made fun of Brandon, can I go do my commentary? You want to get some? Should I tag out with somebody else?
No, we'll wrap this shit up.
No. I'm not letting that happen. Because last time
He'll fight you.
Last time I was responsible for extending the podcast, and then we had the guest appearance by Jeff at the end of it. So
yeah,
we're not going from an hour and a half podcast down to a 40-minute podcast. What are we at now?
We're at like an hour and a half.
No, fuck that. What are we at? What are we at?
We're at 36 minutes.
Okay, so let's talk about Joel then. Let's go back to talking about Joel.
Oh, well, real fast, before we talk about Joel, I wanted to talk about this thing. It's out of my site, so I can't see it. Someone sent us a little drunk tank model, like the drunk tank. It was, what is this? Jack 046984 on the website. It's pretty cool. I'm going to put a picture of it in the link dump. See?
All right.
It shoots booze at you.
Well, fire away.
I always wonder when people find our podcast, like on iTunes or randomly, like who are the people who don't know about the drunk tank who find it, who are looking up for drunk podcasts? Yeah,
Marshall had a theory that the video podcast helped new people find it, like people who are only on like YouTube.
Yeah, I think it's possible. Because if we looked at that quarterly growth in downloads, it seems like between Q1 and Q2 of this year there was a big growth, and then we did the video podcast in March.
You sound like a businessman. Or quarterly reporting.
Look at crunching the numbers and year over year.
What Gus is trying to
Do you have
say
a forecast for Q4?
More.
More.
Yeah, what he's trying to say is the bar was little, and then it got bigger.
Exactly. Are you an economist?
I looked at it.
You figured out how it works.
I looked at the graph. The bar got bigger each time it got further to the right.
Mm-hmm.
It got taller.
That's called growth.
Right.
And we're
just simplifying.
We're finally going to get the Netherlands in the top 10. I guarantee.
We're hoping.
Now, Netherlands is a huge country for. Isn't the Netherlands where's Pirate Bay? That's Sweden, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is Sweden.
Yeah. They. I read that the Pirate Party. I don't understand how the politics works, but hey, look, we're talking about Germany now. That the Pirate Party got enough votes to get representation in the
Germany
federal government in Germany. Yeah,
they have like one representative. Like they got like 8.8% of the vote or something.
Who is that jackass?
Have you seen that picture of all the politicians? It's like a bunch of dudes in suits, and then like one dude's sitting at the end in like a black hoodie with like long hair. He's like, he looks like a deer in the headlights. He's like kind of shrunk in like a turtle, like with his head partially retracted, looking around.
He's rolling like a D20 to figure out how he wants to vote.
Brandon's here.
Hello, Brandon.
So Brandon came in. I was ridiculing you. Do you remember when we first moved into this building and this window right here was leaking?
Yeah. And who called to get it fixed?
You called to get it fixed.
I did.
You also ran out to buy towels for us to mop up the water. Do you remember the problem with the towels that you bought?
Yeah.
So I was saying that while we're here for Crunch, I saw the big stack of red towels and I thought of you fondly. I thought, how far you've come.
I didn't just grab those towels either. I sat there and thought, what color towels should I get?
What color towels are we going to put on the floor?
Actively on the wet floor.
Yeah, like, white towels, it's just like, you see what disgusting things are on them, like, especially around this office.
Yeah,
I was like, I'd rather be ignorant.
You watch it.
I'd rather be ignorant.
I'd rather
to
not see
disgust around this office than look at a towel and see it.
On my face.
Wow, he's just coming in.
If it's white, you can at least, you're like, oh, it's dirty. I need to wash that.
It's always going to be dirty, Gus. It's always going to be dirty.
No,
but
so rather not see it.
It created a huge. It was a problem.
Yeah, having the red towels.
Yeah, it was a problem.
Yeah. Well, we still have red towels.
But they're nice now. I mean,
is there a particular color of towel? Do you only use white towels?
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
Michael, when you buy a towel,
I don't give a shit.
You don't give a shit.
I have a shitload of red towels. I like red towels.
I had a really stupid discussion with Hullum one time where when we were in college, he had a red Coke shirt. It was, it's a Coke shirt, so of course it's red. Mm-hmm. And he said to me that red cotton is as soft as cotton. And he had a get in here, Joel. Get in here, Joel. We're talking about you in Vegas and you being a bitch.
What are you talking about?
Get in here. Sit down. Pull up a chair. Joel Heyman is about to join us.
I don't have a chair for you, but
Is this working?
There's a chair right there.
Don't hit it.
What are you guys talking about?
Don't quick hit it.
Pull up a chair. Sit your butt down.
Okay,
Sit your butt down. Sit your butt down.
Chicken sandwich.
What?
So we're
Chicken
talking about,
sandwich.
Joel, about how you tried to back out of Australia and why you think you going to Australia, we now owe you something.
You owe me something. You owe me something.
Nothing.
You owe me something.
What?
So Joel has this thing where we talked about it last podcast.
You owe me something. Forget Australia. You just owe me something just for whatever.
Universally,
just universally.
karmically, I owe Joel something.
Yeah.
Karmically.
Well, last week we talked about you and Jack going to Vegas, and you were for sure going to cancel your trip to go to Vegas, but you somehow managed to go, and you went to Vegas. Do you want to regale us?
You know, I
with
just yesterday I went to. I was just aimed you guys just by realizing you're in the podcast. I just went to Bank of America, and I got a money order. And they're like, "How much would you like the money order for, sir?" And I handed them $12,000. This ball of money
from
and they were
Vegas?
like, and they
That's
were
what
like,
you came
yes,
back with?
yes. And they were like, "Would you like to open an account?" And I was like, "Well, I can't open an account because you guys are insolvent and going out of business."
Nice.
You said that?
Yeah, and then they looked at me funny, and then it was just awkward.
Yeah, when you tell someone to their face they're going out of business while they're at work.
They seemed a little troubled about it.
Yeah, how many jobs they cut?
30,000?
30,000, not enough. Bank of America, you have to cut a lot more than that. They're going to try and cut more a lot of that. It's not going to work. When they bought Countrywide,
They need to
Countrywide,
fire every fucking person I dealt with over there when I was dealing with my mortgage.
they're going under.
Fuck them.
They're going under.
In the butt.
Warren Buffett bought all these. Warren Buffett bought in at Bank of America at $7 a share. And he's losing. That was bad. Warren Buffett doesn't know what he's doing. I said
Warren Buffett doesn't know what
doesn't
he's doing.
know what he's doing.
He said it.
I'm calling him out.
If only he was listening to the same podcast you listened to.
Only
with the
he was.
crazy
If
guy.
only he was listening to us. He'd be ahead of it. I went through and I listened. I would listen for banging table sounds. Do you take banging table sounds out?
Yep.
You do not.
I
He
do.
does. He works very hard.
Why? Why do you do that? Banging table sounds are part of the presentation.
No. I take it all out. Fucking clean, unfiltered Gus.
Clean, unfiltered Gus? I
They
don't want to
want to hear.
unfiltered
They want to
Gus.
hear the table banging sounds, like the dramatic pauses and the cue, the emotional.
No,
cues
because
of
can
the
you
whole
imagine
podcast.
like with
If
your
you
with
don't
your,
get the emotional
your
cues
earbuds
in,
in and you're like listening and all
Are
of a
they
sudden
loud?
there's like a fucking it's like you're getting punched in both ears at the same time.
Really?
Yeah, you don't want that.
That's 2.4 million people who listen to this podcast.
We could be
Well, that's a high quality. That's a
You
high
know what you
quality
should
podcast.
do? You should invest in hearing aids and then bang on the table all the time.
There we go. That
I
works.
won't cut it out and we'll split the profits.
We need to get Joel a pop filter for his mic, too. He's too excitable.
Oh yeah, there's no pop filter.
So,
on that one.
listen, master of distraction and deflection, you were telling a story about Vegas, and then somehow you got into fucking Bank of America's insolvency. How the hell did you make $12,000 in Vegas? Because you were down.
It was
He contacts me. He contacts me Friday night. He got there Friday. He contacts me Friday night. They're out of money. He's completely broke. I get a cryptic text about a guy named Jerome.
You guys were IMing back and forth, and Bernie was like, "Well, let me know if you need some like money, right?" Which I was like,
Yes.
well, this will be great. I mean, because we can need to get as many people in on this as possible for more fun. Because we should all pool our money together, right? That way, we're all invested.
No.
we're all invested in the trip to Vegas.
He thought this was an investment. It's a loan. You don't invest in people when they're in Vegas.
You know, I meant an emotional, fun investment. Like, oh, will Joel pay me back or not? Like that would be like it's
always a good
right? Like,
time.
yeah, I don't know. I just gave him like lots of money. I don't know if I'll ever see it again.
No, I'm not investing you in that level. I'm emotionally unavailable
It'd
for
be
you on
funny.
that
It'd be
level.
like, oh, it'd be so exciting. Vegas.
So let me paint this picture for you. So it's Friday night at about 10 p.m. because they're 2 hours, right? You guys are 2 hours
2
off?
hours ahead.
So by 8 p.m. their time, they were already busted and completely out of money. And he blamed some guy named Jerome, I guess. That's all I got was a cryptic text, who I thought Jerome was a dealer. Because you blame the dealer
He
when
was
they
like
fuck
some
you.
Asian guy from Vancouver. And he had the dice. He was rolling, and he did not do a very good job of rolling the dice.
What a scumbag. He didn't do a good
So
job.
you were
totally
betting-
nice to the guy. It was totally nice.
You're betting
It
on
was
craps?
I was betting on craps.
That was
yeah.
after he'd failed at blackjack, because blackjack is Joel's game.
Yeah, it was bad because none of the decks would go positive. They just wouldn't go positive. So you just sit there for hours and hours and hours, and they don't go positive. You just sit there, and it's awful.
Which Joel is saying something very specific there about the way that he gambles, but the decks he didn't win money, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
That's great. What were you guys talking about before I came in here?
We're talking about you.
Everyone's looking at me funny now.
You're the hot topic of conversation about how you tried to bitch out of the Australia trip. So he calls me Friday night at 10 p.m. I get this call or this text saying, we might need money. So I have to get hold of money and figure out a way on Saturday to wire money to them in Vegas, which he thought was an investment. It was a loan.
Emotional investment.
So I'm at my kid's soccer game. I'm reffing a soccer game for 6-year-olds. I'm reffing a soccer game going, no, don't take that. No, new ball, coming in. No, new ball. Keep going, keep playing it.
I was wondering what you were doing because it sounded really weird from my
while I've got an iPhone to my other ear, in my other hand, going, what? How much? How many? What did you lose? How many thousands of dollars did you lose? Yes, I can wire the money to Vegas, and I'm trying to talk to a accountant at Mandalay Bay, trying to figure out how to wire money. That is the worst bad influence that I've ever been in my life. Reffing a soccer game for 6-year-olds while trying to wire money to Vegas.
How do suburban, volatile parents of kids let you get away with reffing a game on the cell phone? Like,
oh, I know. They're 6-year-olds. It's not fucking, who cares? It's like you just push the ball.
You put them out there so they fucking get tired. They just like run around in circles, work out that energy,
like,
and
I
go
don't like
sleep
places
later.
like I don't know what happened where it's like you can't be on a cell phone at a restaurant now or whatever. Fuck that. We're in the future. We should have a cell phone at or wherever we want.
Yeah.
I mean, we should stop making rules where it takes the cell phone away from us when we want to do stuff. We should be able to have the cell phone on all the time.
I would be okay with it if people weren't fucking jackasses who talk at 5 times their normal speaking volume when they're on a cell phone.
Or they don't understand the person in front of you takes precedence over the person on the phone.
Right. Also, that's another thing. When the cell phone slows down the service.
I agree with that. But don't we all? I guess we don't all understand that. But I've never broken that.
No,
but it's still, it shouldn't. The stupid people shouldn't make the rules for all of us.
Yeah, but you have to account for them.
We don't make.
idiots.
Yeah, but we make the rules for the stupid people because that's why you have rules. You say so you don't do this.
Yeah, that's why there's signs that say like, "Don't touch the high voltage lines."
Right.
That's
why the 10 Commandments are simple shit like don't kill people. You know, people were animals back then. They needed to be told this kind of stuff.
but I don't understand this. If you're on a phone, you're walking with people, everybody's talking, then you all get on the elevator, and if you stay on your phone, everyone else gets silent.
Everyone's
They're
silent
like, you're on
in
an
the
elevator,
anyway.
everybody quiet because someone's on the phone. We need to make this as awkward as possible.
Elevators are not for talking unless there's drunk people in it. You shut up and you stand there. You just wait for your door to open and you get the fuck out. That's it. It's
You
not
and
for
I live
topic
in
of
much different
conversation.
worlds, man.
It's not for topic of conversation. You don't make best
I
friends in
remember-
the fucking elevator.
At PAX, you started making very inappropriate sexual jokes to the old people that were in the elevator. with
I
us.
don't remember
You are
that.
fucking. You need to have limits.
What?
We need to set boundaries for this kid.
It was awful.
What did you do?
I really don't remember what he
You don't remember that? We were in the.
I do that all the time. I don't remember it. It might have been a big deal for you, Gus.
It was super
every
crowded.
day for me.
Oh man, it was awful.
He started talking to one of our business points of contact over Twitter. I was like, listen to me. You behave yourself.
Don't fuck this up.
It's like if you're young, you don't give a fuck,
And you know
and
what
then
I-
you get middle aged, and you give a fuck, and then you get old, and you don't give a fuck again.
It's like a bell curve.
You know what I
Amount
got?
of fucks given over time.
You know what I got out of that conversation, Bernie? I got to follow. Right there. Building bridges.
So then you can later burn them.
Yeah, well,
Burn them.
Yeah. When you just don't show up to work one day,
Exactly.
and you're gone. Is Michael alive? Is he dead? I don't know. I think he made a quit. Maybe.
So
You'll never know.
Successful trip to Vegas? Unsuccessful trip to Vegas?
Well, every trip to Vegas is successful because it's fun.
There you go.
It's fun.
That's loser talk. Again, that's loser talk right there.
So let's.
It wasn't. No, I mean it was. It could have been bad. It could have been a bloodbath, and it was fine.
So, Mr. Armageddon, financial Armageddon, you came back with $12,000. That is a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah,
So
and
you come back with these winnings from Vegas. If they're in cash, U.S. dollars, which we know you hate because you're a communist. Why would you then get a money order? Because you're sending it to your bank?
yes,
So you have one of these like mail banks?
yes,
Wait, do you mind saying what your bank is?
it's USAA.
Okay,
and I
'cause you're a
really
military
hope they
kid.
haven't done anything stupid with the money. I hope they haven't. I hope USAA has not bought Countrywide Financial or anything like that.
Why would you not take your cash and just literally go buy gold? There are places in Austin where you can go and buy gold over the counter.
There's gold ATMs, right? Aren't there
I'm
some
not.
in Vegas?
I'm not to the point where I feel like I need to buy physical gold.
You're not?
Give it a
No,
week.
I don't think we're to that point.
If we get to that point,
yet,
like I always say, who the fuck are you going to give that gold to?
Right.
If we get to that point,
They're going to want sandwiches.
well, I mean, there are
invest in sandwiches.
there are companies that
You should
now
buy like
have-
a pig and
there
a
are-
cow
there
and
are
keep them in your
companies now-
backyard.
There are
That's a
companies
fucking
now where you
investment.
can where you can have gold and they store it and they give you like a Visa card that trades off of that gold. So it's
Every
it can
time
be
you
done.
spend it, they take
so
the
you have
chip off.
So you literally have like a
Exactly.
personal gold standard. is
Well,
what
you
have.
can't. I don't have it, but
You're
it
backed
can be,
by gold.
It can be done. People have done it. It's a lot easier apparently in Europe or whatever. It's a lot more difficult over here to get done.
You reminded me of something. I went to Target last night to buy some Like household items? No, just household items. Frying pan, if you want to know. You want to get into my business? Frying
Yes.
pan. Okay.
We want to get to know you here, Bernie. That's the point of the podcast.
So every time you go to Target, you can check out. Every time they ask me if I want to fucking sign up for the Target card.
I hate that.
I can't stand it. Gus, I can't stand it.
I want to get a shirt that says I don't want to sign up for your store credit card.
We were going to make a shirt that said that.
Yeah.
We were going to make a shirt that it had
had
all
like
of the
3 things.
It had all the inconvenient things you don't want to deal with in your life, and then you would just point your shirt.
And like every single website you go to now, it's like, oh, we accept fund dollars. Just give us the thing and sign up for the fund dollars and find the account and now a newsletter and blah blah blah.
I hate that they always try to pitch the store credit card to you at Target, but they have the best credit card processing system ever. It
Yeah?
is so fucking fast. You swipe your card and you're done. Like there's a receipt in your hand before you know it. I like that.
It's probably because they just like don't really actually authorize it. They're just like, what's the risk here? You know, everyone who goes to Target is spending like, can you get out of Target with spending less than $100? Is that possible to do that?
Yes.
It's like Home Depot. If I set foot in Home Depot,
I can if I don't go with my wife. If I go by myself.
Yeah.
Home Depot's bad. Home
Yeah.
Depot's bad because they just have like weird stuff. Like, look at that lamp that you can install into your wall. I have to have that. You know, I want everything in Home Depot.
Yeah, it's like $100 cover charge
Yeah.
every time you go into Home Depot.
Yeah.
Don't go to a store. That's it.
Just go to Slick Deals.
It's
That's
true.
That's
It's
like
true.
your way of living.
That's Chris.
It's true.
This dummy's buying a house. Brandon's buying a
I'm
house.
not buying a house.
Are you? You buying a
I've
house?
really been inquiring.
Are you buying a house?
I know nothing about anything like 401k.
No, you can stop it. I know
about
nothing.
investments,
Don't-
about
Don't-
mortgages.
Do not
Don't-
think about a house as an investment.
Don't
Okay, that right?
buy. Yeah, don't buy a house
All right.
Buy a house.
unless you want. Unless you want to spend money and lose. I mean, unless you want to like not have money.
buy a house.
But you want a house. If you want a house, I'm like that with cars. Cars make no sense, but I want a car. I mean, I'm not going to get any return on that. But if you're like, you're not going to get a good return on it.
You're not
But
getting
I would have
good
a house.
return on it.
But you'd have a house.
Yeah.
If
Don't-
push comes to shove, you got a place to fucking
just
live.
don't think of it as an investment, but you should buy a house.
Because you're an adult, you're a human being. Buy a house.
All right.
I mean, adult's questionable.
Joel, can I borrow $12,000?
He has a money order.
House,
for
what
my-
kind of house are you looking
It's
at?
for my fun investment.
It's like an investment.
Are you-
Maybe you'll get it back. Maybe you won't.
Are you still carless since your car was destroyed?
I've been driving around and oh my god, this fucking truck, dude. It's like every time, it's like a 12-point turn to do anything. Like at a stoplight, I have to stop and go back up. I mean, that truck is impossible to drive. Like the inversion thing that you did, the reason why that truck was hard to drive wasn't because the windows were blacked up, it's because it was that fucking truck. It's like 40 feet off the ground. It's
Yes.
giant.
I bought a truck a year ago, and I turned my old truck over to the company to be our production truck.
Do you want to hear something funny?
Yeah, but how about thank you for letting you use the truck while you fucking wrecked your car?
The truck,
Thank you for
the truck that we filmed Inversion with.
Inversion would have been much funnier, by the way.
What is funny, Joel? Tell me your funny story.
Never mind.
What did you wreck my truck?
No.
He got my truck towed.
What?
He got my truck towed to his apartment complex. He calls me up and he gives me a hassle like,
You owe him because of that.
Gus, let me ask you this. You get a call in the middle of the weekend, like on a Saturday afternoon, is, hey, what's the VIN number of your truck? I don't fucking know the VIN number of my truck is. And he's
I'm like, Bernie, don't worry about anything, but what is the make, model, and year?
do you have a
Why did they
low
tow
jack
it?
system in your
Like they
truck?
weren't expecting it?
You know, those fuckers, they were like, I went to the office and they were like, okay, well, we'll give you a temporary sticker, but don't stick the sticker in the windshield because we need the sticker back. Like, they can't waste the 10 cents on the sticker.
Right.
So it's like, they wouldn't let me stick the sticker in the windshield. They're like, just place it. And of course, it fell out. And of course, they towed me.
You know, one time I lived in a small apartment complex here in Austin off of Enfield. It was like 10 units or something. And the ownership of the apartment changed. And we all had assigned parking. And when the ownership changed, the new owners didn't get the list of whose parking spot was whose from the old owners. So one day, there's just a car parked in my parking spot. I'm like, well, that's inconvenient and sucks. So I park like in guest parking. The next day I come back, that car's in my parking spot again. Like, well, that sucks. The next day I come back and they're in my spot again. So I called and I have them towed. And apparently the apartment complex had given my spot to someone else, to my new next door neighbor.
What a great way to meet people.
So I had them towed, and I got yelled at, and I was like, "You gave my fucking parking space away!"
Yeah, that's
Totally
always-
justified.
I mean, I
have a question. Did they know their VIN number of their car off the top of their
I feel
head?
like I could never tow anyone. Like, I hate, I mean, if you park in my spot, I'm going to hate you for
Oh,
it.
I've towed
Like,
tons of
have
people.
you? Call
Oh yeah,
me?
fuck it. I will.
Why? You did?
Rules must be followed.
Yeah, that's my spot. Again, I mean, West Campus, west of University of Texas. It's
Like,
a free for all,
if
man.
somebody...
If someone takes your parking spot, you're you got no options.
The thing is, if
Yeah,
someone
true.
toes me, I want to stab them in the face.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I want to stab them in the face. So if I toe someone, I expect that someone's going to try and stab me in the face.
I always said,
But you see, the thing is, you're not physically doing it. You're just calling someone.
Yeah,
But you enjoy it. Like, I enjoyed towing them.
if I ever got
it
rich
was,
enough,
it was awesome.
if I ever made enough money, got rich enough, you know what I would do? I said I would retire and do for a living. I would buy a big tow truck and I would tow trucks away.
That's great.
all day long.
that is
And I would
the
say,
greatest thing.
you have to pay me to get your car back. Sorry. I just
Yeah,
didn't
you
like the
take
way
it
you parked
somewhere.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and like everything they do is dickish. Like their lots are always. I got towed from my old apartment complex for whatever reason, which was way up north, and of course the lot was way down south. Now that I'm down south, they tow it from. Guess what? It's way up north.
It's right.
Way up north.
They go the farthest
They
possible
go the
distance.
farthest possible place.
And they have the worst hours to get your car out.
And they're so sketch,
And it's just like, it's not
Yeah.
even like a legal thing. They just like, I have a big truck. That means I get to take away your car. That's it.
And everything was a pain in the ass. Come to the window. I had to go fill out form. We had to fill out the affidavit for release. Oh, and he came back. Oh, we don't accept credit cards.
Did you say I have a $12,000 money order in my pocket to get my car
I
back?
have this gold that I'm willing to trade you for my car. This is valid currency and it's worth stuff.
So what are you going to do with $12,000?
What do you mean? It just goes back into the. It goes back in the account. This goes back in the brokerage account.
My God, dude. That
Hopefully-
is an enormous amount of money.
Hopefully buy a car.
That's seriously the biggest amount of money I've ever heard of anyone come back from Vegas that I know personally. I always hear about dopes who, you know.
Man.
It was perfect
Yeah,
because Bernie, I know Bernie was so happy. He
I
was
was
there, he was
so
wearing there, and he
happy.
texted me a message. So are you broke yet? And as it happened, I happened to have taken a picture at that moment, so I had a perfect response.
Nice.
I was disappointed. Yeah,
I think I've said it on the podcast before, but one time I was ordering a drink at the bar at the Bellagio, and there were like video poker stations, and I was standing there waiting for my drink, and the dude next to me just like claps and goes, "Yes!" And I look over, and he had a royal flush on the video poker machine, and he had just won $30,000.
Just a couple claps.
Yeah, that's all he did. He just goes, "Yes!" And then the bartender comes over, and then security comes over, and they look at it, and they like take him away.
See, the reason why he was only like yes is because he was probably like 40,000 in the hole from playing video poker. So he was like only $10,000 down.
God, you know, the guys we play poker with some nights, one of them is Aaron Flash. His wife, there's this weird rule about that table. If you sit down at that table for the first time, you will clean up. Like the first timers
Yeah.
at that poker table just do enormously well, especially if they're girls.
Yeah,
To prove that,
more girls should come play poker at Flashes.
I agree. That sentence just sounded good somehow
Yeah.
or some way. His wife sat down to play poker with us finally after months of us playing at their house. She got a royal. I've never seen that before. She got a royal flush sitting down at the poker table.
That's awesome.
I've never seen it
the
before.
first time I played, I got a royal flush from those guys.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I got a 4 of a kind from them, and I've never had a 4 of a kind.
It's like how they bait you in. You somehow mysteriously
They,
get a royal
they,
flush.
do. They got a whole system.
That makes me happy because those guys are really cool and really nice, but when it comes to poker, they're so hostile towards new players. Like,
They
I
just
went
don't
there
like
once,
talking.
and I was just like, they were just like kept complaining about so and so and so and so because they don't know how to play. They don't know how to play. I was like, shit, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
It was like they don't know how to
It was
play.
like when-
but at the
like
end, they'll give
you're
you
like born, you're just like born knowing how to play poker. It's
but
like
they'll
you've
give
never
you
been
like
through that process.
at the end of the first night, they'll give you like the executive host card, and they'll try and make you sleep with them.
well,
They invite you to. They have a buffet too.
we've had some bad experiences with first-time players too. We had a guy who worked at a local video store that somebody knew came and played with us. We're playing poker, right? The game lasts from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Okay, so we're playing poker. That's what we do. It's about 10:30, and the guy had like 6 good hands. He goes, "Well, I'm up, so I'm just going to cash out and go." It's like that's not the way.
You're not playing at a fucking
line.
casino.
Right, it's like it's a fine line where it's like poker etiquette versus like, well, these are friends.
There's no
friendly
up. You don't do that. You
Yeah.
play through the game. You don't go, I'm up, I'm leaving. You don't go to a baseball game and say, well, it's 5th inning, we're up 10 points.
We're done. We're leaving.
We're out. We're getting
You're up 10 points in the baseball game.
Yeah.
Points.
10
runs.
runs.
Whatever. Come on.
Same thing. Fucking semantics.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Trying to catch me.
God, it's fucking stupid.
So,
He got all upset over my V's and my M sounding the same. Because my
Did you not make a blog post? Blog post on the main page of the website when I misspoke? That was a big deal.
you said JFK discovered the moon.
That's two
No. You said he launched the moon.
That's right. He launched the
Launched it.
moon. He
That's
launched
what it
the
was.
moon.
Obviously misspoke.
Points and runs can be the same thing. The moon and
not.
Apollo mission are two totally different things.
Points is a more generic term. JFK launching the moon. JFK had nothing to do with the launch of the moon.
I understand JFK.
That was Roosevelt. Everybody knows that.
It was part of the New Deal.
Well, I was thinking Teddy Roosevelt, actually.
Oh, Teddy. Okay, never mind. It was part of the creation of the national parks.
There you go. Exactly. Like Mount Rushmore and the moon. We needed something up there at night. The sun was getting too much glory.
You're looking antsy, Joel. What's
All
wrong?
right, I gotta go. Bye.
Okay, I'm about to go because I also have to do my my commentary for Season 9 of Red vs. Blue. But there's 3 of you guys. There's no reason why you can't continue and give 2.4 million listeners a few more minutes.
Gus
Okay.
John.
Yeah, we'll give him the pure, unfiltered Gus. All right. Well, good luck with your commentary, Bernie.
Thanks, dude.
Don't forget your drink.
Bye-bye.
Gus, that apartment complex you lived at, was that? Did you find that from the Rain Man
Yes.
of apartment locators?
Yes. Have you dealt with him?
No, you told me so much about him. I always wanted to call him, but I was scared.
I've never talked about that dude in the podcast. I guess I'll talk about him right now. I don't know. I don't even remember how I found this guy, but he's an apartment locator. If you ever need an apartment in Austin, you should definitely use this guy. Because at first you call him and he meets you, whatever, and you're going to look at apartments, and you think he's just wasting your time. Like, he has this piece of shit car that stinks like gasoline, and you think you're getting high from the fumes, you don't know what's going on, and he's like asking you all these weird personal questions, and then like after an hour driving around in the city, like while he's talking to you, interviewing you, he goes, I know the perfect apartment for you, and he will take you, the first apartment he takes you to is like the perfect place for you to live. And he helped me find that one apartment. Then like 2 or 3 years later, I wanted to move out of there. I wanted to rent a house.
You sure sent the fumes, Gus? You're just like, oh my god, this apartment, it's so good.
I called this same guy 3 years later, and I'm like, I want to rent a house. I'm going to move out of this apartment. He comes to pick me up. He goes, I remember you. You had that Sidekick phone. You had that cat. There's your truck. And like, remember we looked at this place, we looked at that. Like, he remembered everything about me. And then, like, when he saw it was me, he's like, oh, well, I know the perfect place for you. Come on. And then, like, he took me to the house. And, like, in 5 minutes, he knew exactly where to...
Are you sure this guy's an apartment locator, not just like a Gus follower?
He must have just been, like, some kind of weird... No, because when Monty moved here, I referred Monty to that guy. And Monty said the exact same thing happened to him. He was like, the guy wasted his time for an hour. And then it was like, showed him... The first place he showed him was like, bam, bam, that's it. So either you get really sick of the guy and you're just, like, happy to leave... Or he's incredible. He's really, really good at finding you a place. I'll refer you to him if you're ever interested in moving out from Jackson.
Oh no, I love it.
This podcast
Room.
Sponsored by Rain Man Apartment Locator guy.
yeah, like that's what I say. He's like Rain Man. Oh, and then when we're driving around with him, like he insists, like anytime you're at a red light, he insists on reading all the signs that the homeless people have begging for money. And like at one point, I was like at Guadalupe and 45th, and there was like some homeless guy with a sign, and he's like looking at the guy reading the sign. He's like, that guy's sign's different. I was like, it's like that's not his normal sign. It's so fucking
Is there a
weird.
standard? Like a standard homeless person sign that they give out, and this guy was like, he's making his own sign.
You can't do that.
It's
against the rules.
The homeless people sign union.
It's against the Homeless Chamber of Commerce.
This guy's starting a revolution.
That guy's fucking weird.
Their signs are green. He's going for a green sign.
Michael, did you talk about how you went out last weekend?
I did. I went out last weekend.
You went out?
So Michael and Chris went out, and they actually live pretty close to each other. Took a cab back, right? And they dropped Chris off. Cab drops Chris off, and cab's going to take Michael home. Michael probably about 5 minutes away. And what happened exactly after that, Michael?
I was extremely intoxicated, and it was like 2:30 in the morning, and I like don't know the area at all, even though I've been here for like a month. And we were on the street to turn off to get to Jack's house, and there's like all this construction and shit, and like that's how you know it's coming up. Like there's a bunch of cones and shit like that. And I'm like, yeah, it's somewhere up on the left. So the guy doesn't find it. He clearly goes past it. He goes back and forth up and down the street like a bunch of times, and he's like, "Wait, where is it? Where is it?" I'm like, "I just have the address. Like, I just gave him the address. I'm like, there's the address. Go there."
A $5 ride turned into $35.
It was $30.
From what I understand.
It was $32, and like so then.
How long have you been living there? You have no idea how to find it.
Yeah. So then the guy pulls over and like looks at his phone, and it's like he didn't have GPS. He just had like maps on his phone, so he couldn't find it. And then after that didn't work, he fucking takes out like a physical map, which I didn't even know existed anymore. He takes it out, and I was telling somebody about this. They're like, wait, like a map? Like paper? And I go, from fucking trees. That's what he pulled out to find the fucking place. And it was $32 when we got back.
Oh, you paid for that map.
Yeah, no shit.
Hey, I had no desire to be on this podcast, but this is the room where the liquor is.
Nice.
So I was coming in to get because it's 12:05.
Yeah.
So I was coming to get my lunch, and I'm gonna go for the McCallum today. But I just like to say one of my favorite things about Michael is that he's lived a sheltered life that I'm discovering working with him. You know, living with his parents his entire life. Everything is a first for him.
true.
Was that your first cab ride? Because I wouldn't be surprised.
No, it was like my
Second, third.
something like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we took a cab in Seattle.
Oh, did you? Okay, so he's
That might
he's a
have-
seasoned veteran now.
That might
yeah.
have been his first.
Pretty professional. Cab
Everything's
rider.
exciting.
I wouldn't
With
say
him,
it's
he's like,
exciting.
"This is have you guys ever seen a mechanical pencil before? This is crazy."
It's like a pencil,
Dude.
but you push the button like a pen.
It's like a pen. Exactly. See.
See, I knew I knew
Yeah.
that.
So you know what I'm talking about.
It's
Yeah,
like
there you
lead,
go.
and then sometimes it breaks, so then you got to get the long, lead and put it back in, and you can like refill it. You don't have to sharpen it. That's
All right.
that's the future.
Well, I'm going to leave you guys with that. That sounds fascinating.
All right, thanks. I hope you enjoy that liquor.
Lunch.
Lunch. Well, I'm going to watch him pick. You said the McCallum. It's right over there in the back right.
yet.
He said he talked a big game in the podcast. Now he's going for something else.
Oh, the Lagavulin. I'm not a big Scotch fan myself.
Oh, no.
You like Scotch? I don't like people are like, oh, it's got like a good mossy taste or whatever. Like that just tastes like dirt to me.
Peaty. Yeah, it tastes like dirt.
Yeah,
It's,
that's not good.
Nature's liquor dirt.
When you're a little kid, you make fun of the kid who eats dirt.
Unless you're the kid that eats dirt.
Yeah, and then everyone makes fun of you.
What a dumb adjective, mossy. Like, what about that sounds appealing?
Yeah, I'm gonna go lick some rocks. That'd be awesome.
Scotland, if you're listening, I apologize. They just don't know.
All right, have fun with that. I hope you get seconds.
We'll
All right,
be
well,
here.
let's wrap this shit up. I don't want to go too much longer because I know everyone's got a ton of shit to do, and I'm fucking hungry. It's lunchtime.
It's lunchtime. Okay.
Thank you for joining us, Brandon.
Oh,
And you
it's
too.
over now. Okay.
Yeah. So don't forget, we're going to be at New York Comic Con. And
Joel's not.
I'm going to be. I'll have to find someone else to replace him now. I'll be at MCM Expo in London, and Bernie and Joel will be at Armageddon Expo Melbourne and Auckland later.
I will
in
also be
October.
there with them.
Oh, you're going to be there?
Aren't you supposed to be buying my ticket?
I'm not buying. I have to. No, you have a fucking credit card. Buy it yourself.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not. Well, like that's such a weird, like long trip.
Okay.
That normally I leave it to the people making the trip because it's such an inconvenient flight. There's no way I could make it easy on you. So instead of me getting blamed for it, I'll let you.
Okay, I thought that
Take
was
care of it.
my way of finding out that my trip had been canceled.
No. I'm
sure it will.
You're going.
It's just-
You should. Bernie will probably buy those tickets, but you all work that out. I'm not buying that ticket because that's a crazy trip. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks.